All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on something fascinating, the silent architects of our decisions. We're talking about the hidden strategies of dark psychology.
Let me ask you a question. What if you had a secret power? The ability to understand and even gently guide the thoughts and decisions of anyone you meet, your boss, a friend, maybe even a total stranger.
Now, this isn't some superpower from a comic book. It's real. It's pure psychology. These are the exact same tools that master influencers and leaders use every single day to shape outcomes, often without anyone even realizing a hand was played at all. Okay, but before we dive in, a very important note. We are exploring these ideas for one reason and one reason only, to give you the tools to recognize and defend yourself against manipulation. This is all about awareness, not about using these tactics. And trust me, once you see this stuff, you won't be able to unsee it.
So, let's start with the art of misdirection. This is where influence isn't about force at all. It's about subtly redirecting someone's attention and guiding their will, almost like a stage magician.
We're going to count down the top 5 techniques. So let's kick things off with number 5. This is called the revenge trap, and it taps into a really fundamental glitch in human nature, our deep-seated need to do the exact opposite of what we're told. You could almost call it weaponized reverse psychology.
So, for example, instead of asking a friend for help directly, you might say something like this. And instantly their ego is on the line, right? They'll probably jump in just to prove you wrong. You never actually asked them, but the work gets done. And the real power move here? The decision feels like it was entirely their idea.
All right, moving on to number 4, which actually builds directly on this whole idea of hidden influence. This brings us to becoming a master of choice. The key insight here is that real control isn't about taking away someone's options. It's about carefully designing the choices you present to them in the first place.
It's really the difference between asking, hey, want to go out? Which, invites a no, and asking, so, are we doing Pizza Hut or Domino's tonight? That second one just presumes you're already going out. The other person feels like they're in control of the decision, but guess what? Both paths lead exactly where you wanted to go.
Okay, so we've been talking about misdirection and logic. Now we're going to shift gears. We're moving from the head to the heart. The next set of techniques bypasses our rational defenses completely by targeting our emotions.
And that brings us right to number 3.
This one is the guilty trap. You see, guilt is an incredibly powerful motivator. People will resist being forced to do something, but they will often rush to change their own behavior just to get rid of that awful, uncomfortable feeling of guilt. So instead of a direct accusation, a phrase like this works like an emotional mirror. You're not attacking them, you see. You're just letting their own conscience do all the heavy lifting for you. It's so subtle and shockingly effective.
We're getting close now. At number 2, the approach becomes even more direct.
This is what's known as the emotional hijack, and it's based on a fundamental truth about all of us. When our emotions are high, our intelligence is low. If you can control how someone feels, you can steer their decisions.
Emotions like fear, anger, or even love can completely short-circuit our rational minds. I mean, think about political rallies. They're often masterclasses in this. They're designed to stir up these really powerful feelings. And once an audience is emotionally charged up, logic just takes a back seat, and their minds become way more open to suggestion.
And that brings us to the final, and I have to say, the most potent tool in the entire dark psychology arsenal.
And the number 1 technique. Well, it might be the very last thing you'd ever expect.
That's right. Silence. Just silence. Think back to when you were a kid. A parent yelling at you is one thing, but what about when they just stopped talking and looked at you and said nothing? That silence is absolutely deafening. It's so powerful because it forces your own mind to fill in that void, and we almost always fill it with our worst fears.
So here's how it can be used as a tool. First, you make a simple, confident claim. Then, you wait. You just stay completely silent. You see, nature abhors a vacuum, and so do conversations. As that silence stretches on, the other person's anxiety just skyrockets until they feel this overwhelming need to fill it, and they often do it by revealing exactly what you were looking for.
So, we've just explored 5 incredibly powerful techniques. But what's the big takeaway here? Well, this knowledge isn't just theory. It's a completely new lens that you can use to see the world around you.
If you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this.
Real influence rarely, if ever, looks like a direct order. It looks like a choice you were guided to make, an emotion you were made to feel, or a silence that basically compelled you to confess.
Again, the point of all this isn't to become a manipulator. It's to stop being manipulated. And that really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. Now that you can see the strings, who in your life is holding them?